Help me reach 9,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. Thank you. She flinched when I reached for her shoulders in the kitchen. Nothing dramatic. Just a subtle step away, like my hands burned. The dishwasher hummed softly. She stood with a dish towel she didn't need. Not in the mood, Erin said. Eyes fixed on the sink. Hasn't been your mood for a while, I replied, leaning on the counter. You want to tell me what changed? Nothing changed, she said, folding the towel once, then again, like it was a chore that kept her from answering. I've got things to do. If I'd known where that sentence would lead, I'd have flipped the breaker and ended the night. But I didn't. I tried again. You're checked out, I told her. Are you somewhere else? Which is it? Stop making everything heavy, Mark, she said, setting the towel down like a period. The only thing heavier than silence is the kind that pretends to be polite. I let it sit there. Then I made a decision. No more reaching for someone already halfway out the door. I didn't say it out loud. I wrote it in my head and underlined it twice. Okay, I said finally. Then I'm going to make a few changes. What changes? She asked. We'll get there. If I'd paid attention to what that meant, I could have saved myself a long road ahead. But I believed in what we had. Right up until the day I followed a car I didn't recognize into a quiet cul-de-sac and saw a porch light switch on to welcome it. The next morning, I made breakfast and slid a plate across the counter. Date night Friday, I said. No phones, no distractions, just us. There's a spot by the lake. Good food, live music. I can't Friday, she said before the plate stopped moving. Busy? With what? Errands, laundry, groceries. I told you. She rinsed her coffee cup for 3 seconds, like washing away evidence of something that wasn't there. You need 3 hours for groceries now, I asked. Don't do that, she said sharply. Don't interrogate me. I'm trying to plan time with my wife, I said evenly. If that's interrogation, we need a new dictionary. You always make me feel cornered, she said. You're never home long enough to be cornered, I replied. She gave a short, dry laugh. Maybe I'm busy because someone has to keep this place running. I handle the yard, cars, insurance, even the water heater. You forgot, until it flooded the laundry closet, I said. The point, she cut in, is I don't want the pressure of a forced-us night. It's fake. Good, I said. Then here's what's real. I opened our shared calendar. I'm removing myself from errands, where I'm just the wallet. If you want my time, schedule it, don't shrug at it. And until you decide what mood you live in, I'm moving to the guest room. It keeps things clear. Her head turned sharply. That's dramatic. It's organized, I said. We've been pretending the couch gap is an accident. I'm making it a plan. Budgets are splitting too. Your expenses, my expenses, shared household list. I'll send you the spreadsheet at lunch. I don't need your spreadsheets. You do when my paycheck funds half the clutter, I said. She looked at me like I'd just poured her coffee down the drain. You're punishing me. No, I said. I'm just done investing in something I'm not allowed to take part in. I grabbed my keys. There's a cookout at Tom and Dana's Saturday. We can go as a couple and act like one, or I'll go alone. Your choice. That's petty. It's adult, I said. I'm finished standing beside someone who's already somewhere else. I headed to the garage. She didn't follow. The eggs went cold. On the way to my truck, I texted Dana. Might come solo Saturday. Long story. She sent back a thumbs up and said, come anyway. I told her I'd see. At work, Miguel stopped by my desk with paperwork. He's the kind of guy who can juggle 3 jokes and a deadline in one breath. You look like a man testing the guest room, he said. Yeah, I replied. Hypoallergenic solitude. Ah, the luxury package, he joked. Something like that, I said. You good? Not bad enough to be interesting, I answered. I'm not chasing anyone this week. Good plan, he said. Chasing's just cardio for the clueless. You can quote me on that, I replied, and went back to work. Saturday came. We arrived together at Tom and Dana's, but it felt like parallel lines. She went straight to the women's table. I grabbed a soda and talked with Tom about the fence he never fixes. Dana walked by with tongs. "You two okay?" she asked softly. "We're trying to be," I said. "That's where we're at." Across the yard, I heard Aaron's voice. "Mark's date night thing. He's in some phase, reads articles, plays life coach. It's cute, I guess." She smiled at me mid-sentence, like I was part of the joke. "Right, honey?" I set my soda down. "Dana," I said clearly. Not loud enough for a scene, but enough to be heard. "Thanks for the invite. I'm heading out." Not really in the mood to be a punchline. I turned to Aaron. "Truck leaves in 5. "Seriously?" she asked. "5 becomes 4 soon," I said. "You're overreacting." "I'm matching energy," I replied. Tom raised his hands. "Hey, it's fine," he said. "We're not breaking anything," I told him, and walked to the gate. Aaron didn't move. I gave her the countdown I promised, and left. In the rear view, I saw Dana touch her arm. Aaron pulled away. That night, I moved my things into the guest room. Not a fight, just logistics. Suits on the left, casuals on the right, toolbox under the bed. No slammed doors, no noise. I set an early alarm and jogged a mile Sunday morning. The air was cool and asked nothing of me. When I got back, the kitchen smelled like garlic and basil. Aaron stood at the stove. "I made that pasta you like," she said quietly. I shouldn't have joked at Dana's. It came out wrong. "Thank you for dinner," I said, and meant it. "I'll eat in a bit." She set a bowl in front of me. "We could do a movie after." "I've got invoices to finish," I replied. The pasta was good. She's good at that. But it didn't fix the week. We ate mostly in silence. She asked about Miguel. I said his dog learned to open the pantry. She laughed. Then she said, "I know I've been distant. Work's been heavy." "What's heavy," I said, "is asking for truth and getting excuses. But I appreciate the food." She blinked like I'd turned down kindness. "So we're just roommates now, until things change." "Yes," I said. "Dinner's great, by the way." She went to bed early. I stayed up and itemized our finances. Monday morning, I transferred part of the joint account to my own, leaving enough for shared bills. I sent her a message, listing the amounts, and said any extras needed a text first. "Clear rules beat unclear moods," I wrote. No response. 2 days later, my project ran late. On the way home, I took a back route and passed a coffee shop with string lights. Erin's SUV was parked out front. I stopped across the street. Through the window, she sat with a man I'd never seen. No laptop, no work. Just two people smiling over something private. She brushed something off his sleeve that didn't need brushing. My coffee went cold in my hand, though I hadn't even bought it yet. I watched 10 quiet minutes that told me everything without saying a word. When they stood, they hugged. Not a greeting, a goodbye that lasted just a little too long. They drove off in opposite directions. I followed him, not because I wanted to, but because facts matter more than doubt. He drove to a quiet neighborhood, parked in a driveway, and a woman opened the door, kissed him, and took his jacket. Not a sister, not a friend. Home. I sat a block away under a tree, thinking, no rage, just math. The equation was ugly but balanced. I took 2 photos, one of the house number and one of the door, when she took his hand, then drove home. Erin was in the living room folding laundry that didn't need folding. "You're late," she said lightly. "All good," I said. "I'm going to shower." She didn't ask about my day, and I didn't offer details. I slept in the guest room and didn't count the hours. The next day, I parked near his street again, around 5:30. When he left for the gym, I walked to the house and rang the bell. The same woman answered, polite but cautious. "Hi," I said. "I'm Mark. I think we have a problem with overlapping schedules." Her eyes narrowed slightly, measuring before speaking. "Okay, can we talk for 5 minutes? On the porch is fine," I said, showing my phone. I'm not here to wreck your life, just to understand mine, because it's already burning. She stepped outside and closed the door behind her. I said, Lauren, is this about Caleb? That was the name I hadn't yet confirmed. I showed her 2 photos, the house number with his car, and the one of them at the doorway from the day before. She looked at the screen, then at me, then past me, toward the street like the answer might be hiding out there. She didn't cry or shout, just breathed slowly. Your wife, Erin. Do you know how long? She asked. I know enough to stop guessing, I said. Lauren leaned her shoulder against the post, as if she needed something steady, while the ground shifted beneath her. I thought it was just work hours, extra clients. I thought my story was laundry. She gave a quiet sound that wasn't laughter. What do you want from me? She asked finally. I'm not asking for anything, I said, tapping my chest. I'm telling Erin tonight. Calmly, she'll have 30 minutes to pack what she needs and go stay with her sister. Papers will come later. You don't need to be there for that. But if you want this to be simple, tomorrow around 6, you and I walk into my place and have one clear conversation. She'll try to blur things. 2 people make it harder to hide. After that, we come here and do the same for you. No yelling, just facts and photos. She can deny me, but not you. Lauren glanced at the door behind her. He trained me to wait until after the next weekend, after the next big project. Always later. I don't wait anymore, I said. You don't have to either. But that's your choice. How do I know you want this turn this into some show? Because I not 13, I said evenly. And because quiet consequences last longer. She studied me, then nodded once. Tomorrow at 6, text me your address. She recited her number, and I sent her a message with my name. She added a period at the end of it, like she was giving the moment structure. Lauren, I said. I'm sorry you stay here. Me too, she replied. But been glad you knocked. I left before Caleb returned. On the drive home, I rehearsed 2 sentences and threw away 10 others. At a red light, I looked in the mirror and admitted the truth. I wasn't hoping to win anything. I was just done losing. Erin was on the couch, watching a sitcom. I turned it off. I need you home tomorrow at 6, I said. Why? Because I asked. You being weird. I being clear. 6. She rolled her eyes. Fine. I slept well. The next morning, she made coffee and slid me a mug like nothing had happened. I was thinking we could try that burger place Friday, she said lightly. I might been harsh last week. That's a good idea, I said. Let's see where we are after tonight. She reached across the counter and traced my hand with her thumb, something she had not done months. I miss us. I'll let the moment pass, I said, then show up at 6. She withdrew her hand, unsure what switch she had just flipped. You really want to make this formal? I want to make it clean. At 5:58, the next day, I opened the front door before Erin could question why I was waiting there. Lauren walked in, holding a small notebook, her expression steady and already past breaking. Erin froze in the hallway. Who is this? This is Lauren, I said. She sits married to Caleb. Erin Sepp's face drained of color, then refilled like a flickering screen. Are you serious? What is this? What are you doing in my house? Standing in the only honest spot left, Lauren said evenly. You meeting my husband. That's insane, Erin snapped. Mark, seriously. You bring a stranger into our home to accuse me of. I raised a hand. You can throw dust or speak. Choose one. She glared at both of us. You mistaken. He helps me with a volunteer project. We meet at a cafe because it's sex convenient. And you touch his sleeve because charity, I asked. That's none of your I held up my phone. Yesterday, You and Caleb, Cafe on Main, 4:30. The hug in the lot, the drive to his address, the door opening. Lauren quietly slid a printed photo across the console table. Her wedding picture. Two smiling faces, younger but clearly them. Aaron Sip's mouth tried 3 denials before she stopped. She half laughed once, then gave up. Okay, she said finally. It happened. Not a one-time mistake, Lauren said, tapping the table. You planned it. My husband Sit's got new grooming products and a gym schedule that doesn't add up. I know the signs. Aaron looked at me. We can fix this, she said quickly. You and me, we just got lazy. What we got, I said calmly, is a new arrangement. You step packing a bag and going to your sister Sit's. No scenes, no speeches. I will handle the paperwork tomorrow. If you need anything from here, text me. Will leave it on the porch. You can sit just. I can, I said. And I am. Lauren folded her arms. Not smug, just done. Aaron looked between us, searching for an exit that wasn't there. Then she tried her last move. She stepped closer, placed her hand on my chest, and softened her tone until it sounded like the early days. Mark, she whispered, I love you. I just been stressed. Don't end us over a mistake. I I'll go to therapy. I I'll change. I asked for weeks, I said quietly. All I got was sarcasm and excuses. I drew a line. You crossed it smiling. I me not punishing you. I me forcing boundaries in my own home. And believe it or not, I me sparing you the spectacle. She stood silent for a while. Then her posture stiffened again. Fine, she snapped. You want me gone? I still go. The blue suitcase, right? My sister Sep's expecting a call anyway. I opened the hall closet, set the suitcase down, and stepped aside. She walked past Lauren without a word. Upstairs, drawers opened and closed, hangers scraped the rod. 15 minutes later she came down, coat in hand and anger on her face. At the door she turned. You still regret this? I don't regret clean exits, I said. Lock up behind you. The click of the door sounded final. I exhaled through my nose and looked at Lauren. You okay? I asked. No, she said honestly. But I them not falling apart either. Tomorrow, I said. We go to your place. Same setup. She nodded. 6 again. 6. I walked her to the porch. The evening air felt like nothing, and that was perfect. The next morning, Erin texted a photo of her sister's guest room and one line, I'll come by Friday, for my things. I replied, list what you need. I'll leave boxes on the porch. She sent 2 more texts, arguments about history, investments, and the word we. At lunch, I went to the bank, finalized the split accounts, and updated all utilities to my name. Miguel noticed the stack of paperwork on my desk and gave a low whistle. Not wasting time, huh? I'm done donating time to a fund that pays in disrespect, I said. He grinned. That Sip's a good line. Keep it, I told him. I giving mine away today. At 5:55, I parked 2 houses down from Lauren's. The front light was on. At 6 sharp, I knocked. He opened the door, gym bag slung over his shoulder like he was ready to jog past any real conversation. Caleb? I asked evenly. Yeah, can I help you? Lauren stepped forward. Yes, she said. We stir here to have a conversation without the usual fog. His face shifted as he put the pieces together. Lauren, me, the time of day, the lack of smiles. This is insane, he said. You can just show up. I asked you questions for weeks, Lauren replied. Her tone flat. You gave me bedtime stories. Now you still answer his. He tried to close the door. I placed my hand on it. Not forceful, just enough to remind him of physics. We stir not here to fight, I said. We stir here to align calendars. That doesn't set even make sense, he snapped. I don't set even know who you are. I stem the man married to Erin, Cafe on Main, 4:30 Monday. The hug in the parking lot. The drive to your house, where my camera sees better than your excuses. He stared, lost for words. You followed me. I verified. I corrected. I showed him the photos. This is your house, your car, your porch. You say set coincidence, set slowly, if you need to hear how it sounds. Lauren stepped beside me and held up her wedding photo. And this is the day you promised honesty. Don't sit make it sound so simple, he barked. It is simple, she said. You stir not special. You just thought no one would line up the facts. He looked past us into the living room, like the furniture might save him. You stir both blowing this out of the comfort zone you built, I finished. Here's what happens now. You and Erin take space. We handle logistics like adults. No late-night calls, no theatrics. You want to talk about property or accounts? Talk to your wife. Mindset's already packing boxes. Lauren crossed her arms. I want you out for a week, she said firmly. I need space to decide what SHEP's worth keeping that isn't set day you. Take a bag. Leave the keys. I settle call when I SHEP's ready to deal with the rest. You can kick me out of my own. I can ask, she said, and if you make it messy, the locks will handle the rest. He turned to me, desperate for some kind of alliance. You stir really okay with this guy showing up at our house? You stir siding with a stranger? He SHEP's not a stranger, she said. He SHEP's the only one here telling the truth. He swore under his breath. I didn't move. I don't escalate. I subtract. After pacing for a minute, he went upstairs, grabbed a duffel, and came back down, making just enough noise to pretend he still had control. Lauren held out her hand, silent, steady. He dropped the keys into her hand. The sound was small, final. He paused in the doorway. You're making a mistake, he said. I made the mistake last year, she replied calmly. This is the correction. He shot a quick glance my way. You think you win by humiliating people? I win by not being ashamed of the truth, I answered. It sets free, and it fits everyone. He left. The steady click of the closing door felt like punctuation. Lauren exhaled once, then straightened and placed the keys on the console like something already filed away. Thank you, she said. Simple, steady. I didn't do it for thanks, I said, rubbing my jaw. I did it because I still like sleeping at night. You want some water? She asked. I've got a truck and a quiet house, I replied. That's SHEP's hydration enough. She managed a faint smile. If you ever need a hiking partner who keeps pace and doesn't ask the wrong questions, call me. I might, I said. When I got home, Erin's boxes were stacked by the door, neatly labeled, shoes, dresses, bathroom. She'd always been efficient under pressure. A note sat on the island. We could talk. I flipped it, found nothing else, and pinned it under a fridge magnet where grocery lists used to go. Then I changed the alarm code, sent her a temporary one good for 48 hours so she could finish collecting her things. The next few days were unnervingly quiet, like a room after you've moved out the piano and finally notice how much space it once filled. I worked, slept, ate decent sandwiches over the sink. No one to insist they be plated like an event. Miguel stopped by my desk and set down a coffee. How's the land of clarity? He asked. Peaceful, I said. Loud in my head sometimes, but peaceful. Selling the house? Not yet. Built the shelves in the garage myself. I said I'll enjoy them a bit longer. Erin tried again the next weekend. She arrived around noon, bright smile, polished hair, a pie in hand. She let herself in with the temporary code and found me in the garage, fixing a light. Hey, she said, like nothing had ever happened. Thought I said bring dessert and talk like adults. We are adults, I said from the ladder. That SHEP's why we set her not pretending. She placed the pie on the workbench. We set her throwing away a lot, Mark. Then stop tossing, I said, stepping down. This is the last open visit. After today, porch only. It SHEP's not personal. It sets policy. A policy? She repeated, almost laughing. You really love your rules. They love me back. She traced the edge of the bench, her tone softening. We had 10 years. You really want to ruin it over a few bad months. You had 10 years, I corrected, and spent the last 6 testing limits. You already know the answer. If you need something from the house, text me by 5. She looked at me a long time before nodding, her pride folding into something like surrender. You still regret, not forgiving. I don't stat regret clarity, I said, and I don't stat bargain for respect. She left the pie, which I handed to the neighborhood kid who mows lawns. Her car pulled away and didn't turn back. That was the last time she came inside. The paperwork moved at its usual slow pace. I answered what I had to, and ignored the nostalgic messages. Lauren texted twice, a hiking trail photo, then a link to a taco truck she swore by. We met a week later at a park. We didn't trade stories of pain. We just walked, 4 miles of quiet conversation about work, houses, and how tired advice sounds when it comes from people who've never needed it. People keep telling me to fight for my marriage, she said, as we crossed a small bridge. Like I sit mum lazy for not going 12 rounds. Fighting isn't set the same as keeping, I told her. Sometimes the fight is knowing when to tell the referee you done getting hit below the belt. She smiled. You sound like someone who makes lists. I do, and I check them off like it sets my job. We didn't become anything romantic. That wasn't the goal. She was the one I texted when my house felt too quiet at night. I was the voice she called when she needed calm without performance. We built simple habits: Saturday coffee, Sunday walks, dinner after work, predictable, steady. The kind of rhythm you only appreciate after chaos disguised as passion. By the time the divorce papers were final, I'd swapped cable for better tools, turned the guest room into an office, and learned 2 meals that didn't taste like apology. I bought a used boat, scratched, imperfect, and took it to the lake at dawn. Not because I'd become some outdoorsman, but because the water stays silent until spoken to. Word spread that Erin had moved into a small apartment across town. Kept quiet, kept tidy. She and Caleb didn't last beyond 2 months. Real schedules expose fantasies quickly. That's all I needed to know. My own circle grew smaller and better. Tom and Dana brought folding chairs that first weekend. Miguel dragged me to trivia night and mocked every wrong answer. Lauren and I kept our simple routine, real times, real goodbyes. We call each other friends, without quotation marks. Some people find that suspicious. Let them. Sometimes I think back to that kitchen, the dish towel, the small recoil that said everything. I reached, she pulled away, and I kept reaching. That was on me. The last time I reached was to open my door for someone who chose truth with me. That's the reach worth keeping. The night everything officially ended, Erin texted, I hope you're happy. I typed and erased a dozen replies before settling on one. I'm at peace. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss decoding silence. I like waking up in a house where the calendar is mine and everything on it happens when it should. I cook what I want, keep tools where I can find them, and sit on the tailgate watching the sky turn without pretending it means something profound. I spend real time with people who earn it, including a woman who once faced the truth beside me. The last time Lauren and I hiked, she stopped at a small overlook. Do you ever think about the what-ifs? She asked. I used to, I said. Now I think about the what-nows. What SHEP's your what now today? Breakfast tacos, I said. And maybe a nap. She laughed. That SHEP's a solid plan. We headed down the trail. No speeches, no drama. Just two people who'd been through something and built better lives out of the same hours everyone else gets. My ex and her partner in chaos can manage their comfort however they like. If they're still together, it's not my concern. If they're not, even less so. When people ask if I'd do anything differently, I tell them this. I'd stop reaching sooner. I'd start enforcing boundaries earlier. And I'd still open that door at 6. For the only kind of conversation that ever fixes anything. The kind backed by truth and closed with a clean exit. Erin lost what she valued most, control of the room. I walked out of it with my back straight and my hands empty. It felt right. It felt earned. Now when I lock my door at night, the only person I need to impress is the man brushing his teeth in my mirror. He's not a fan of speeches. He likes plans. He likes results. And he sleeps just fine.